Born on November 2, 1942, in Hollywood, California, Stefanie Powers grew up surrounded by the rhythms of an industry that shaped American culture. Yet proximity to fame did not guarantee destiny. Raised with Polish and Hungarian roots, Powers developed an early sense of discipline and independence that distinguished her from many of her peers. While Hollywood's glamour shimmered around her, she approached acting as a craft rather than a shortcut to celebrity. As a teenager, she trained rigorously, learning how to command a room with quiet confidence rather than theatrics. This grounding helped her navigate an industry in transition, as the traditional studio system gave way to a more modern, uncertain era. Powers entered adulthood with an understanding that longevity required adaptability, patience, and emotional intelligence. That perspective would serve her well over decades. Even in her earliest years, she demonstrated a presence that felt composed rather than manufactured, suggesting not only talent, but a deep awareness of who she was and what she wanted to contribute beyond fleeting stardom. Early roles and the making of a professional actress. Stefanie Powers' early career unfolded during a pivotal moment in Hollywood history, when young actors were expected to learn quickly and prove themselves decisively. After signing with 20th Century Fox, she took on supporting roles that allowed her to study seasoned performers up close. Appearances in films like Experiment in Terror, 1962, and McClintock, 1963, placed her alongside respected stars, offering invaluable experience rather than instant fame. Powers absorbed the discipline of long shooting days, the precision of dialogue delivery, and the unspoken etiquette of professional sets. These roles revealed her versatility and her ability to remain grounded amid pressure. While many actors struggled with typecasting or industry expectations, she focused on steady improvement rather than rapid ascension. This period became her apprenticeship, shaping her confidence and reinforcing her belief that a meaningful career was built gradually. Rather than chasing headlines, Powers invested in credibility, setting the foundation for the recognition that would arrive later through television. Television stardom and a new kind of female hero television proved to be the medium that truly connected Stefanie Powers with audiences nationwide. In the 1960s and 1970s, she appeared in numerous series, but her role as April Dancer on The Girl from UNCLE marked a turning point. Portraying a stylish, intelligent spy, Powers challenged conventional portrayals of women on screen by combining sophistication with competence. She wasn't merely decorative or secondary. She drove the narrative with wit and resolve. This balance resonated with viewers and signaled a shift in how female characters could be written and performed. Powers brought humor and nuance to action-driven stories, making her characters relatable without diminishing their strength. Television allowed her to reach millions of homes, and she embraced that responsibility thoughtfully. She understood that representation mattered, particularly for women seeking characters who reflected independence and confidence. This growing rapport with audiences paved the way for the role that would ultimately define her legacy. Heart to Heart and an enduring cultural legacy. In 1979, Stefanie Powers stepped into the role of Jennifer Hart on Heart to Heart, creating one of television's most memorable partnerships alongside Robert Wagner. The series succeeded not only because of its mysteries, but because of the warmth and equality between its central characters. Jennifer Hart was intelligent, adventurous, and fully engaged in the narrative, never overshadowed by her husband. Powers infused the role with elegance and authenticity, making Jennifer both aspirational and approachable. Viewers responded to the genuine chemistry between the leads, which felt rooted in mutual respect rather than scripted convention. Over 5 seasons and subsequent reunion films, the show became a cultural touchstone, symbolizing a marriage built on trust and shared curiosity. Powers' performance helped redefine how female leads could exist within mainstream entertainment. Rather than relying on spectacle, she demonstrated that charisma paired with emotional intelligence could sustain long-term success and leave a lasting imprint on popular culture. A love that shaped a life. Beyond the screen, beyond her professional achievements, Stefanie Powers' personal life included a relationship that profoundly influenced her worldview. Her partnership with actor William Holden began in the 1970s, during a period of transition for both of them. Powers has described their bond as deeply rooted in mutual understanding rather than public display. Away from Hollywood's spotlight, they shared a love of nature and a growing concern for wildlife preservation. Holden encouraged Powers to explore this passion, helping her recognize a purpose beyond acting. Their relationship was private, intentional, and grounded in shared values, which allowed it to endure despite external pressures. Powers has spoken of Holden as a mentor as much as a partner, someone who helped her see the broader responsibilities that come with influence. When Holden passed away in 1981, the loss was devastating, but it also became a catalyst. Powers chose to honor their shared ideals through action rather than retreat. Conservation, purpose, and a lasting commitment. Following William Holden's death, Stefanie Powers dedicated herself to preserving the cause they had both cherished. In 1982, she helped establish the William Holden Wildlife Foundation, transforming personal grief into a mission with global impact. The foundation focused on education, conservation, and the protection of endangered species, particularly in Kenya. Powers became deeply involved, traveling extensively and participating directly in initiatives rather than serving as a symbolic figurehead. Her work extended to leadership roles at wildlife conservancies and partnerships with zoos and educational institutions in the United States. Over time, conservation became central to her identity, equal in importance to her acting career. She approached advocacy with the same professionalism that defined her work in entertainment, emphasizing sustainability and long-term solutions. For Powers, conservation was not a phase or tribute alone. It was a continuation of love expressed through responsibility. Her efforts demonstrated how celebrity influence could be used thoughtfully and effectively. Love, loss, and personal resilience. Stefanie Powers' personal journey has included multiple chapters of love, change, and reflection. Her marriage to actor Gary Lockwood in the 1960s marked an early exploration of partnership within Hollywood's demanding environment. Later, her marriage to Patrick de la Chênaie introduced her to a different cultural world, blending American and European perspectives. Though both marriages ended, Powers has spoken of them as formative rather than defining. Later in life, she found companionship with Tom Carroll, whose presence offered stability away from public scrutiny. Their relationship, lasting nearly 15 years, reflected a mature understanding of partnership built on shared values rather than external expectations. Loss returned with Carroll's passing in 2014, reinforcing Powers' belief in resilience through acceptance rather than resistance. Across decades, her personal life reveals a woman willing to love deeply while remaining self-aware. Each relationship contributed to her emotional depth, reinforcing her capacity for empathy, growth, and perspective. Facing illness with grace and perspective. In 2008, Stefanie Powers faced a significant health challenge that tested her resilience in new ways. Diagnosed with a rare form of lung cancer, she approached treatment with pragmatism and openness rather than fear. After undergoing surgery in early 2009, she focused on recovery with patience and discipline, recognizing that healing required both physical and emotional strength. This period coincided with the loss of her mother, intensifying the emotional weight of the moment. Powers later reflected on this time as a reminder of life's fragility and the importance of presence. Rather than retreating from public life, she chose to speak openly about her experience to encourage awareness and early detection. Her approach was measured, avoiding alarm while emphasizing responsibility. Illness became another chapter in her story of endurance. reinforcing her belief that adversity, while unavoidable, can be met with clarity, dignity, and an unwavering commitment to continue living fully. Reflection, legacy, and a life well lived now. In her 80s, Stefanie Powers reflects on her life with gratitude rather than nostalgia. Her memoir, One from the Heart, offers insight into a journey shaped by curiosity, discipline, love, and service. Looking back, she speaks not of regrets, but of lessons learned through connection and commitment. Her relationship with William Holden remains a defining emotional touchstone, not because of its tragedy, but because of the purpose it inspired. Powers' legacy extends beyond iconic television roles into conservation, advocacy, and quiet leadership. She represents a generation of performers who evolved with time, refusing to be confined by any single identity. Through grace under pressure and a willingness to grow, she has shown that relevance is not about visibility alone, but about integrity. Stefanie Powers' story is ultimately one of continuity, love transformed into action, success balanced by humility, and a life shaped not just by fame, but by meaningful impact.